Well, Matthew, you lose your two key fillers in defence, you skipper for a large chunk of the last quarter, and Rory Leeds pretty banged up late. How proud are you of that gritty win?
Yeah, well, incredibly proud. That makes it even more so. Laddie's playing forward. We had Brodie Smith early in the game that had some soreness, and when we lost Muzz, he gritted it out for us and said, "I'll keep going." So, yeah, anyone over the age of 21 seemed to be going down pretty sore tonight, which challenged us, but it gave an opportunity for some of our younger guys to step up. And we sat down post game, and we normally go through some KPIs and look at what we did well and where we didn't. And we sat there and said, you can't measure grit. There's no stat for it, but I reckon we won it tonight. So that was the most pleasing part of the game.
There are times of that second half where you thought they may run over the top of you, given the momentum they had in the game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, plenty. We've shown we don't give up, though. It's one area. We probably get criticised for falling just short too often. So we knew the white flag wouldn't come up. But there were periods there where they had momentum, the crowd got involved, and our guys just dug deep, fought our way back, and then the work we've done on the planning going into those scenarios came through. And so, yeah, incredibly proud.
How pleased were you for Josh? Obviously it's well documented. The last time he played Essendon, he had those moments that he was quite public about. He came out on the front foot about, and then to sort of come full circle, have the winning goal against the same team. You must be really proud of him.
Yeah, proud of all of them. I mean, he's in the end, he's the one who knocks through the winner, but there's so much more to it. It's hard to point to individuals and mindful of that, because it takes the team to grit that out. But there were some standouts. There were some just performances. I mean, Ben Key's performance tonight, and it's not the goals. We're not worried. It's great finishing work, but just everywhere. Just his ability to put himself in the contest. I thought he was fantastic. Darcy Fogarty, again, there are a lot of stats that there'll be no mark on the sheet for him, but we know he competed and brought the ball to ground. And Riley O'Brien at points throughout the game where we were under pressure, they came at us with two genuine first rucks. A lot to be pleased about. And probably more importantly, there's a lot of young guys in there that are going to learn a lot from this experience. There's a lot of belief that's going to come with this.
Is that something you can do in the run home? Can you be a wrecking ball for these teams trying to make finals?
We still a chance, aren't we?
Mathematically.
Okay. Yeah, we'd like to think. I mean, our aim is to finish the season off really strongly. Don't know when that is yet.
What could a win like that do for the club? Like, you've had some close losses in the last couple of years, some heartbreaking losses, but to get one over the line, what does that do?
Oh, it's just a belief in what we're working on. We continue to sort of grind our way, and you feel the pain of those losses. You learn a lot from them. But there's no doubt when you get something right, the feeling that's in the change rooms right now, and this group's stuck together. They've, with the environment inside the four walls of our footy club is a really positive one. Although we haven't performed to the level we want to perform this season, we haven't got the wins we need. At not one point did we drop our bundle, and we won't do that. Tonight's just now a little bit of that confirmation that we're not far away.
Can you take us through the timeline of Jordan Dawson? So he cops that hit, comes on late. Was he ruled out under delayed concussion, or can you just take us through how that all unfolded?
I don't actually know, and I don't actually know when he was, the incident that happened. So I'm going to have to go back and we'll have a look at it. But we basically get the message upstairs that at a point, I think through the last quarter, that Jordan's gone off and that he won't be able to come back on. And unfortunately, I believe he's in the protocols now. Which means he won't be available next week, but really it's his health that's most important.
What do you think of Ben Key's tackle on Jai Caldwell in the last quarter, called the cake off?
Yeah, it's going to be one that's talked about, I'm sure. It's probably best we leave it at that.
Does it make the last, obviously a dramatic week for that sort of thing in the league, does that make it even, are you any clearer what players can and can't do?
From our point of view, it was a tough week where we we obviously look at these things and we educate around it. We have a complete understanding of what it is we're trying to do as a league, and we support that as far as protecting and looking after player welfare. But it was a confusing week. We educated one way, and then we had to come back and do a complete flip on that and talk now about, all right, how are we going to go about it? Now, our focus coming into tonight was we wanted a contest. We wanted to challenge, the Bombers. We know how strong they are in certain areas of the game, and we wanted to keep it as a contest, and part of that's tackling. So our intent was to tackle. I thought we did that really well tonight.
You mentioned the flip. I mean, is that good enough for such a professional multi-billion-dollar league that you have to flip on a dime? I mean,
that's not one for me to not one for me to comment around. That's our job is to educate, and big picture, it's about the health of our players, which we are 100% in support of.
What was your aim in the last 3 or 4 minutes when you're 3 goals down? What are you sort of spinning magnet-wise? What are you trying to turn the game into to get yourself over?
Yeah, at that point we discussed a number of things. We've got obviously structure and set play ready in those scenarios, so we went to those, and then it was a little bit of who could we get in and around the footy that was a little fresher. We'd had a number down for majority of the game. Losing Murray early, we won down. So we had a few soldiers that were sort of running up and down on the spot. And so we just had a look at who could we get where. And in the end, there's, in those moments, you've got the way you want to play it out, and you need a little bit of luck with that as well. We lost that last centre bounce. It would have been one we look back on. We had a super young group in there, as we did for most of the night. That'll be a great lesson, but it's nice to come out on the right side of that, because it would have been a tough one for us to watch back.
How is Murray?
We're all trying to think positive thoughts at the moment. He has to have a scan on that. I don't want to say we're confident, but we're going to stay really positive. And as you can imagine, he's quite emotional at the moment, but we'll just keep thinking positive thoughts, and hopefully that one comes out the right way.
Matthew, in the second quarter, it was just an incredible performance. The way you turned things around after a bit of a wobbly start in the first term from a defensive point of view, but you really arrested that momentum back. You must have just been really proud of your maturity, but your mindset, which you've been talking about as a playing group over particularly like the last couple of weeks, and some of your young players, Bond, Dowling and Taylor, all also being a part of the action, stepping up to the plate tonight.
Yeah, and that was, we looked at there was a key moment in that second where Riley O'Brien stepped up for us and really took his contest to another level. So, a senior player to do that, and then for the young group, as you mentioned, to get on the back of it and really just, work in behind an important leader for us was a real positive for us. At the moment, we're enjoying celebrating 21st birthdays and 20th birthdays and 19ths at our footy club. There seems to be a lot of those. Tonight, I think we had 7 or 8 guys that, we had one playing his second game, another one playing his third. But they were guys that stepped up, as you said. And so I think that's the most exciting part about where our footy club's at.
How's Jordan Butts?
Butsy's sprained his foot, and it's one that he's had a few issues with in the past. So we're again similar to Murray. We're staying positive, and we just hopefully that one comes out the right way as well.
And Rory Laird, is he a bit banged up? Did he pick up anything tonight?
Yeah, I think it was more just a cork. I think it was maybe a corky through the quad, which he then found it hard to push off. And when you're going up against a midfield, Essendon have got a really strong midfield group that are powerful. They've got speed, and from Lairdy's point of view, he didn't want to let the team down, but he wanted to stay out on the ground, knowing we were a number of men down, and so for him to grit through that as well was a big one for us.
I guess how pleasing this club's Essendon's had the wheel over you in recent years, and especially the last result was a bit of a controversial finish. Did it make it a little bit more satisfying to finally get one back on this opposition?
Yeah, it's always nice to beat a really good side. We did that tonight. They hadn't lost at this venue. I think they've won every game. So have we now at this venue for the year. So we were. From our point of view, it was the way we wanted to come and play footy tonight. We did it. Majority of the game. There are a couple of run-ons and momentum. We know that that's going to be the case against good sides. It's going to be tough to stop them, but we were able to bring it back our way.
Does Tex come back in next week?
Yeah, Tex will be hopefully freshened up. Hopefully he's looked after himself this week, and we go 10-day break now into next week. So again, that's in our plans. He'll come back in, bring that leadership to the ahead of the ball. He's been really big for us, and we looked at this 9-week block, and we wanted to make sure that we got the best out of Tex Walker and didn't grind him into the ground. And tonight we were relying on some of our younger guys to step up, and they did that. I mentioned, Himmelberg, Philthorpe, Fogarty as our keys ahead of the ball. They really did step up for us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.